You feel it, don't you? The push and pull of the world, the constant noise of opinions, the sting of unexpected events, the pressure of 1,000 small demands. It feels like you are standing in an open field with no shelter as a storm gathers on the horizon. The winds of chaos are picking up, and you are trying your best just to stay on your feet, bracing against a force that seems so much bigger than you. This feeling of being exposed and vulnerable is a deeply human one. In your mind, there is a place that is meant to be your sanctuary, a private, inner world that should be a source of peace and strength. But for so many of us, this inner world looks just like the outer world. It's chaotic, overgrown with weeds of anxiety and fear. The walls that are supposed to protect it are crumbling, and the harsh weather of external events easily finds its way inside, trampling the very ground where your peace is meant to grow. You spend so much energy reacting. A harsh word from a colleague, a piece of bad news on your phone, an unexpected bill. Each one is like a stone thrown over your crumbling wall, landing in your private space. It disrupts your focus and steals your energy. You find yourself constantly putting out these small fires, rushing from one disruption to the next, never feeling like you are in control. You are simply reacting to whatever the world decides to throw at you today. This leaves you feeling exhausted. It's a deep-seated weariness that a good night's sleep can't fix. It's the exhaustion that comes from feeling like your own mind is not your own. It has been invaded and colonized by the demands and dramas of the outside world. You long for a switch you can flip, a button you can press, to simply turn off the noise and find a moment of genuine, uninterrupted silence. You crave a space that is truly yours. You look at figures from history, like the Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius, a man who commanded armies, ruled over a vast empire, and faced plague, war, and betrayal. Yet his writings speak of a profound inner calm, a fortress of the mind that no external event could breach. You wonder how this is possible. How can someone who faced the ultimate chaos of the world find such a powerful and stable peace within himself? Was he simply born different? The secret is not that he was born different. The secret is that he understood the nature of his own mind. He knew that the outer world, with all its storms and demands, could never truly be controlled. Trying to command the winds is a fool's errand. The real work, the only work that truly matters, is not done on the world outside. It is done within the walls of your own consciousness. He knew where his true power was located. So the question we must ask is not, how do I stop the world from being so chaotic? That is a question with no answer, a battle that can never be won. It is the source of our frustration and our exhaustion. We are asking the wrong question, and therefore we are fighting the wrong war. The world will always be a place of unpredictable change, of storms and seasons we cannot command. Acknowledging this is the first step toward freedom. The real question, the one that can change everything, is this: how do you build a mind that is so well cared for, so strong and so resilient, that the chaos of the world does not matter? How do you train your mind to be a sanctuary of calm and order, regardless of the storm that rages outside? How do you become the master of your inner empire? This is the question that the great Stoics like Marcus Aurelius dedicated their lives to answering. This is not about ignoring the world or suppressing your emotions. It is about transforming your relationship with them. It is about understanding what you can control and what you cannot. It's the difference between trying to stop the rain and learning to build a roof that is so strong you can listen to the sound of the storm outside with a sense of peace, knowing you are safe and secure within. This is the skill we are here to learn. We are about to embark on a journey not into the life of a Roman emperor, but into the philosophy that gave him strength, a journey to learn the ancient art of mental fortitude. We will explore how to turn your mind from an open field, exposed to every storm, into a place of incredible strength and beauty. It begins by understanding the common trap that keeps most people feeling powerless and overwhelmed. So what is the first thing we do when we feel overwhelmed by the world? What is our natural instinct? We try to control the uncontrollable. We try to build our walls higher. We believe that if we can just create a perfect defense, if we can just insulate ourselves enough from the outside world, we will finally find peace. We try to manage other people's opinions of us. We try to predict the future. We try to eliminate all risk. This is the trap of external control. We see the storm of chaos outside our garden, and we spend all our energy trying to stop the wind and the rain. We run around patching the walls, building them higher, trying to create an impenetrable fortress. We exhaust ourselves in this effort, believing that our safety depends on the strength of our defenses against the world. Our entire focus is outward, on the storm we perceive as the enemy. Think about how this shows up in your own life. You rehearse conversations in your head a dozen times, trying to control how someone will react. You check the news or your social media feed obsessively, trying to get a handle on a world that is constantly changing. You try to create the perfect plan, one that accounts for every possibility, only to be thrown off course by a single, unexpected event. This is the act of trying to stop the rain. And what is the result of all this effort? Frustration, exhaustion, a feeling of powerlessness. Why? Because the outer world is fundamentally, beautifully, and terrifyingly uncontrollable. You cannot control what others think. You cannot control the economy. You cannot control the future. The more you try, the more you are reminded of your own limits. You are fighting a battle against reality itself, and reality will always win. The walls will always have a crack. While you are busy trying to build the perfect walls, what is happening inside the garden? It is being completely neglected. The weeds of worry are growing taller. The soil of your attention is becoming dry and infertile. The few delicate plants of peace and creativity that were trying to grow are choked out by the chaos you have allowed to fester within. By focusing only on the external threat, you have abandoned the very ground you were trying to protect. This is the great irony. In our desperate search for control, we give all our power away. We give our attention, our energy, our emotional state to things that are completely outside of our influence. We let external events dictate our internal peace. A stranger's comment can ruin our day. A news headline can fill us with anxiety for hours. We have effectively made the world the master of our mind. We also fall into the trap of believing that peace is a destination. We think, I will be calm when I get that promotion, or I will be happy when I'm in a relationship, or I will feel secure when I have more money. We are always waiting for the external world to arrange itself in the perfect way, and only then will we grant ourselves permission to feel at peace. But that perfect arrangement never comes, or if it does, it doesn't last. We are essentially saying that our inner well-being is conditional. It is dependent on a world that is, by its very nature, unconditional and unpredictable. This is a recipe for lifelong anxiety. It is like building your house on a raft in the middle of a stormy ocean and hoping the water will one day become still. The Stoics would say that we are looking for peace in the one place it can never be found, outside of ourselves. This flawed approach is not your fault. It is the default setting for most of us. It is born from a desire for safety. But this strategy of external control ultimately creates the very anxiety it is trying to prevent. It keeps you in a constant state of high alert, scanning the horizon for the next threat, the next problem, the next thing you need to manage. It is an exhausting way to live, a game that you are set up to lose from the very beginning. Think of the energy you've spent worrying about things that never happened. Think of the hours lost trying to please someone who was never going to be pleased. Think of the mental real estate occupied by grudges or fears about the future. All of this is energy spent trying to control the uncontrollable. It's like trying to hold water in your fist. The harder you squeeze, the faster it slips through your fingers. This constant outward focus makes our inner world weak and dependent. Without a steady stream of external validation or good news, we feel empty and lost. Our sense of self becomes a mirror, merely reflecting what is happening around us. When the world is good, we feel good. When the world is bad, we feel bad. We have no independent source of strength, no inner wellspring of peace to draw from when the outer world inevitably becomes a desert. The common trap is believing that power means controlling the world around you. We see powerful people as those who can bend the world to their will. But this is a fragile kind of power. It depends on circumstances. It can be taken away. A market can crash, an election can be lost, a reputation can be ruined. If your peace is built on this kind of power, it is built on sand. So we find ourselves running on a treadmill. We achieve a goal, and for a moment we feel a sense of relief. The storm outside calms, but soon a new cloud appears on the horizon, a new demand, a new fear. And so we start running again, endlessly chasing a state of perfect external calm that will never arrive. This is the cycle of suffering that Stoicism seeks to break. We must realize that this strategy has failed. It is failing right now, every day that we feel anxious about the future or upset about the past. Continuing to invest our energy in controlling the uncontrollable is a guarantee of continued frustration. We need a radical shift in perspective, a pivot. We need to turn our attention away from the storm and toward the garden. The moment you stop trying to control the world is the moment you start to reclaim your power. It feels counterintuitive. It feels like surrender. But it is not surrender. It is the beginning of the real work. It is the decision to stop fighting a war on 1,000 fronts and to focus on the one territory that is truly yours, the territory of your own mind. This is where the wisdom of Marcus Aurelius begins. At this moment of realization, when you are tired of fighting the storm, a guide appears. Not a king with a crown, but a gardener with a seed. Imagine Marcus Aurelius, not in his imperial robes, but in the simple tunic of a philosopher. He doesn't look at the storm raging outside your walls. He doesn't even look at the crumbling walls themselves. He looks at you, and then he points to the neglected soil at your feet. He doesn't offer you a hammer or a trowel to fix the wall. He doesn't offer you a magical shield to stop the rain. He offers you a philosophy, encapsulated in a single, revolutionary idea. It is the pivot upon which your entire world can turn. A truth so simple and so profound that it has the power to reframe every experience you will ever have. It is the key to unlocking the gate of your inner sanctuary. This is the central thesis that will guide us. True power is not the control of the world outside, but the mastery of the world within. Your strength does not come from preventing the storm. It comes from cultivating a garden so vibrant and healthy that it thrives in any weather. The work is not out there. The work is in here. This changes everything. Suddenly you see the futility of your old way. You were a king trying to command the weather, a hopeless task. The philosopher invites you to become something else entirely, a gardener. A gardener does not command the sun or the rain. A gardener understands the seasons. A gardener works with reality, not against it. A gardener's power lies in the patient, daily cultivation of the soil they have been given. This is the great pivot. You turn your back on the storm. You let the wind howl. You let the rain fall. It no longer matters as much. Your focus is no longer on the wall. Your focus is on the single patch of earth at your feet. It is messy. It is full of weeds, but it is yours. It is the only thing in the entire universe that you have any real control over. This is where your new work begins. Marcus Aurelius wrote in his private journal, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength." This wasn't a platitude for him. It was a practical instruction he used to navigate the immense pressures of his life. He was reminding himself, day after day, to turn his attention from the empire outside to the empire within. To be the gardener, not just the emperor. This shift feels like a relief. The heavy burden of trying to control everything is lifted from your shoulders. You are no longer responsible for the weather. What a liberating thought. Your only responsibility is to your small plot of land, your garden. The task is no longer infinite and impossible. It is finite, manageable, and right here in front of you. You can finally breathe. The mind as a walled garden is our guiding metaphor. The walls represent the boundary between your inner world and the outer world. The weather is the chaos of life, the things you cannot control. The soil is your mindset, your core beliefs. The weeds are your negative thoughts, anxieties, and unhelpful judgments. The flowers and trees are your virtues, your joys, your moments of peace and wisdom. And you are the gardener. This metaphor changes the goal. The goal is no longer to have a life with no storms. The goal is to cultivate a garden so beautiful and so strong that its beauty is not dependent on the weather. A garden that can take the harshest rain and turn it into life. A garden whose strength comes from the health of its soil and the depth of its roots, not from the height of its walls. So you accept the philosopher's gift. You take the seed. It is small and simple, but it contains the blueprint for a whole new way of being. You hold in your hand the potential for a mind that is resilient, peaceful, and strong. The potential to cultivate your own sanctuary. Now the real work begins. It is not glamorous or quick. It is the slow, patient, and deeply rewarding work of a gardener. The first act of the gardener is not to plant, but to observe. To walk the grounds of your mind and see it for what it is, without judgment. To notice the weeds of automatic negative thoughts. To see the dry patches of soil where you have neglected your own well-being. To identify the crumbling sections of your wall, not to frantically patch them, but to understand where you are letting the world's chaos enter your mind unchallenged. This is the practice of self-awareness. It's the foundation of all mental training. You cannot change what you do not first acknowledge, so you begin to simply notice your thoughts. When an anxious thought pops up, you don't fight it, you simply label it. Ah, there is a weed of worry. You do this with kindness and curiosity, not with criticism. You are mapping the terrain before you begin to cultivate it. This process of observation creates a space between you and your thoughts. You are not your anxiety. You are the one who is aware of the anxiety. You are not the anger. You are the one who is noticing the anger. This small gap is everything. In this space lies your freedom. It is the space where the gardener decides what to do next, rather than being dragged around by the weeds. So the pivot is complete. You have shifted your focus from the external storm to the internal garden. You have accepted the role of the gardener. You have a new thesis for your life, that your power lies in mastering your inner world. You have begun the first step of a gardener, to observe the land with gentle awareness. Now you are ready to learn the ancient tools of mental cultivation. Let's be clear, the storm outside has not gone away. The wind is still howling. The chaos of the world is still chaotic, but something fundamental has changed inside you. Your posture, your focus, your goal. You have found the starting point of your power. You are no longer a victim of the weather. You are a cultivator of the soil. This is the beginning of training your mind like a Roman emperor. The first tool the Stoic gardener uses is the principle of the dichotomy of control. It is a simple but powerful shovel for sorting the soil. It teaches you to divide all of life's experiences into two categories: things you can control and things you cannot. Your thoughts, your judgments, your actions, these are yours. Other people's opinions, the weather, your health, these are not fully yours. Now let's apply this. Imagine you are anxious about an upcoming presentation. The weed of worry starts to grow. The old you would worry about what your boss will think or if the technology will fail. These things are outside your control. The Stoic gardener sees this weed and gently uproots it. Instead, you plant your energy firmly in the soil you can control. The quality of your preparation, the clarity of your slides, the amount you practice. This practice dramatically simplifies your life. Most of our anxiety comes from investing our energy in the not my control pile. By consciously refocusing on what is yours to manage, you reclaim an immense amount of mental and emotional energy. You stop wasting your precious water on the rocks and instead use it to nourish your own plants. You work on your own garden, not on the weather. The next tool is for dealing with the inevitable hardships, the frosts and the pests. This is the practice of premeditatio malorum, or the premeditation of evils. It sounds negative, but it's actually a tool for creating resilience and gratitude. The gardener does not live in fear of the winter, but calmly considers it. What if there is a frost tonight? I should cover the delicate plants. By thinking about what could go wrong in a calm, rational way, you do two things. First, you strip future events of their power to shock you. If they happen, you are prepared. You have a plan. Second, you increase your appreciation for the present moment. By imagining the cold, you feel the warmth of today's sun more intensely. You are grateful for the good weather precisely because you know it will not last forever. Now let's talk about the weeds themselves, the negative thoughts and painful emotions. The Stoic approach is not to violently rip them out. That often just spreads their seeds. Instead, the gardener practices a kind of detached observation. You see a weed of anger sprout. You don't identify with it. You simply watch it. Ah, anger is present. You examine its roots. This anger is rooted in my judgment that I was treated unfairly. The power of a weed is in its ability to seem like it is the garden. But when you look at it closely, you realize it is just a temporary event happening within the garden. By separating your judgment from the event itself, the weed loses its water source. The event was just an event. It's your judgment. This is terrible. This is unfair. That is the poison. By questioning the judgment, the weed withers on its own. What do we plant in our garden? The Stoics were clear: we plant virtue, things like wisdom, courage, justice, and moderation. These are not abstract ideals. They are like strong, deep-rooted oak trees. They provide shelter. They produce acorns for new growth. They give the entire garden its character and strength. Unlike flowers that wilt, these trees grow stronger with every passing season. Courage, for example, is a tree you grow. You don't wait to feel brave. You perform a small, courageous act. You have that difficult conversation. You start that project you're afraid of. Each small act is like watering the tree of courage. At first, it's a tiny sapling. But over time, through consistent action, it grows into a mighty oak in your inner landscape, providing a sense of unshakable strength. Another essential practice is seeing the world from a higher perspective, what the Stoics called the view from above. The gardener occasionally climbs to the highest point of the garden wall and looks out. From here, their own garden looks small. The neighboring gardens, the town, the entire landscape become visible. This practice helps to shrink our personal problems down to their proper size. When you are consumed by a personal problem, it can feel like the entire universe. But from the view from above, you see it as just one small event in the vast tapestry of human life. You remember that billions of people have faced similar struggles. This doesn't invalidate your problem, but it contextualizes it. It connects you to the larger human story and helps you not to get lost in your own personal drama. Now let's consider the rain, the difficult, painful events that you cannot avoid. The Stoic gardener practices the art of amor fati, the love of one's fate. This is not a passive acceptance. It is an active embrace. It's the belief that everything that happens, especially the challenges, is fuel for your growth. The rain is not a curse. It is necessary for the garden to flourish. If someone betrays you, it is an opportunity to practice forgiveness and resilience. If you face a setback, it is an opportunity to practice creativity and perseverance. If you get sick, it is an opportunity to practice patience and appreciate your body. The gardener doesn't just tolerate the rain. They see it as a gift of water. They ask, how can I use this event to cultivate a virtue? How can this make my garden stronger? This transforms your relationship with adversity. Obstacles are no longer roadblocks that stop you. They become the path itself. Marcus Aurelius said, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." The rock in your path is not an obstacle to be avoided. It is a step to be climbed. The challenge itself is what forges your strength. This daily work of gardening is a form of mental journaling. Marcus Aurelius didn't write his meditations for us. He wrote them for himself. He was reminding himself each day of these principles. He was walking through his garden, checking on the weeds, watering the trees, and preparing for the weather. This is a practice, not a theory. It requires daily, patient, consistent effort. Think of your attention as the garden's water supply. It is precious and finite. Every moment, you are choosing where to direct it. Are you watering the weeds of resentment by replaying an old argument in your head? Or are you watering a seed of gratitude by focusing on something good in your life, no matter how small? The gardener is a conscious director of this precious resource. This work is about building character. A beautiful garden is not one that has never faced a storm. A beautiful garden is one that shows the signs of having weathered many storms and grown stronger because of them. Its beauty is in its resilience. Similarly, A strong character is not one that has never faced adversity, but one that has been shaped and strengthened by it. The principle of justice is another tree to cultivate. For the Stoics, this meant recognizing that we are all part of a larger human community. The gardener understands their garden is not an island. It is part of a larger ecosystem. The health of their garden can positively affect the world outside. This means acting with fairness, kindness, and integrity in your dealings with others. The final core virtue is moderation or temperance. The gardener knows that too much sun can scorch the plants and too much water can drown them. They practice balance. In life, this means finding the middle ground between extremes. It's about enjoying pleasure without becoming a slave to it and facing pain without being destroyed by it. It's the art of just enough. These tools, the dichotomy of control, negative visualization, detached observation, cultivating virtue, the view from above, and loving your fate, are not complicated, but they require constant practice. You are retraining decades of mental habits. Some days you will find your garden overrun with weeds again. The gardener is not discouraged. They simply pick up their tools and begin the work anew every single day. Let's focus again on judgment. A situation is just a situation. A rainy day is just a rainy day. It is not bad or good. It is our judgment that adds that layer of meaning and often that layer of suffering. By learning to see events as neutral, we take back the power to choose our response. We can see the rain as a nuisance that ruins our plans, or we can see it as essential nourishment for our garden. The choice is ours. The gardener also learns the importance of the present moment. The weeds of anxiety grow in the future. The weeds of regret grow in the past. The only place where you can plant a seed, water a flower, or pull a weed is right now. By bringing your full attention to the present task, whether it's pulling one weed or admiring one flower, you starve the anxieties and regrets that live elsewhere. This practice leads to a state the Stoics called apatheia. This doesn't mean apathy or not caring. It means a state of tranquility, free from a storm of disturbing passions. It's not that the gardener no longer feels emotion. They feel joy, sorrow, and love. But these emotions are like the weather within the garden. They come and go, but they do not have the power to uproot the great trees of virtue. Over time, your inner landscape transforms. Where there were once thorny weeds of worry, there are now fields of calm. Where the ground was dry and cracked with neglect, there is now rich, fertile soil of self-awareness. The crumbling walls are still there, but they seem less important now. Your security doesn't come from the walls. It comes from the incredible strength and vitality of the garden itself. You start to notice a change in how you react to the world. A critical email that once would have sent you into a spiral of anxiety now just feels like rain. You acknowledge it. You see if there is anything to be learned, and you use it to water your tree of resilience. You are no longer a victim of your reactions. You are the conscious architect of your responses. The practice of courage has made you bolder. You take on challenges you once shied away from, not because you are no longer afraid, but because you know that the act of facing the fear is what makes the garden grow. You see challenges not as threats, but as opportunities to cultivate your inner strength. This shift makes you feel more alive and engaged with your own life. The practice of moderation brings a new kind of pleasure. You find joy not in excess, but in simplicity. A quiet cup of tea, a walk in nature, a good conversation. These simple things become profound sources of happiness because your mind is no longer constantly craving more and more external stimulation. You have cultivated the ability to be content with what is. The view from above has gifted you with humility and compassion. By seeing your own struggles in the context of the larger human experience, you become more understanding of the struggles of others. You realize that everyone is tending to their own garden, with its own unique set of weeds and weather patterns. This fosters a deep sense of connection and reduces feelings of isolation. Your relationship with time changes. You spend less time mourning the past and fearing the future. Your primary residence becomes the present moment. This is where the work is done. This is where life is lived. This focus on the now brings a profound sense of peace and presence. You are fully engaged with your life as it is actually happening, not as you wish it were or fear it might be. The walls of your garden are still there. They define the space that is yours to cultivate, but now they feel different. They are not a prison to hide in. They are not a fortress to defend. They are simply the boundary of your responsibility. They create the sacred space where you can practice the art of living well, regardless of what the world brings. This inner work is the ultimate source of freedom, not the freedom from difficulty or pain, but the freedom to choose your response to difficulty and pain. The freedom to maintain your own inner peace and rationality, even when the world around you is irrational. This is the freedom that no one can ever take away from you. It is the indestructible fortress Marcus Aurelius was writing about. The mastery of your inner world is not a one-time achievement. It is a lifelong practice. The gardener's work is never truly done. There will always be new weeds, new seasons, new challenges. But the gardener no longer fears this. They have their tools. They have their wisdom. They trust in their ability to cultivate their plot of land day after day. The process itself has become a source of meaning and satisfaction. You learn that a perfect, weed-free garden is not the goal. A garden that is perfectly manicured is often sterile and lifeless. A healthy garden has a bit of wildness to it. It has unexpected volunteers, it has insects, it has life. Similarly, a healthy mind is not one that is empty of all negative thoughts. It is one that has a wise and compassionate relationship with them. The Stoic path is one of empowerment. It tells you that at every moment, no matter how difficult, you have a choice. You can focus on what is outside your control and feel like a victim, or you can focus on your own thoughts and actions and feel like a creator of your own peace, a creator of your own character. You are the gardener and you hold the seeds. As you continue this practice, your garden begins to produce a surplus, not just for you, but for others. Your calm becomes a calming presence for those around you. Your wisdom allows you to give better advice. Your courage inspires others to be brave. Your well-tended garden starts to enrich the world outside its walls, not by trying to control it, but by offering it the fruits of your own inner work. And now we arrive at the heart of it all. The storm outside your garden has not ceased. In fact, a great storm might be raging, wilder than any before. The wind howls, the rain lashes against the walls. The world is as chaotic as it has ever been. The old you would have been panicked, overwhelmed, and defeated. But something is different now. Inside the garden there is peace. The great oak trees of virtue stand firm, their leaves barely rustling. The flowers of joy are blooming, their colors vibrant against the dark sky. The soil of your mindset is rich and moist, absorbing the rain and turning it into life. The storm is a spectacular, dramatic show on the other side of the wall, but it has no power here. It cannot touch the tranquility you have cultivated. You, the gardener, are sitting peacefully on your simple bench. You are not hiding. You are not bracing for impact. You are watching the storm with a sense of detached awe. You can appreciate its power and its wild beauty without being threatened by it. You are listening to the sound of the rain, not as an assault, but as a rhythm, a song played by the world outside. This is the culmination of your training. This is the fortress of the mind. It is not made of stone and mortar, but of wisdom, resilience, and a well-tended inner landscape. It is a dynamic, living sanctuary. Its strength does not come from keeping the world out, but from its profound ability to turn everything the world throws at it into nourishment for its own growth. The great realization dawns on you. The goal was never to stop the storms. The storms are what make a good gardener. The challenges, the heartbreaks, the failures, they were the very things that taught you how to cultivate your soil, how to deepen your roots, and how to grow your strongest trees. The obstacle truly has become the way. You needed the storm to become the master of your garden. And so we restate the central thesis, now filled with the weight of this entire journey. True power is not the control of the world outside. It is the mastery of the world within. This is not a consolation prize. It is the ultimate power. It is the only power that is truly yours, the only power that lasts, the only power that can give you the unbreakable peace you have been searching for. The emperor on his throne, managing the chaos of a vast empire, and the gardener in their small plot of land, managing the chaos of the weather, are practicing the exact same art. The art of focusing on their own character, their own judgments, and their own actions. The art of building an inner world so strong and beautiful that the outer world loses its power to cause distress. You have learned to train your mind, not by fighting it but by tending to it, not by suppressing it but by cultivating it. You have become the wise and patient gardener of your own consciousness. This is a skill that will serve you every day for the rest of your life, in every situation, big or small. It is the source of a resilient, quiet, and profound happiness. The journey's aha moment is this: the quality of your life is not determined by the quality of the events that happen to you. It is determined by the quality of the garden you have cultivated in your mind. Two people can experience the exact same event, the same storm, and have two completely different experiences, one of misery and one of peace. The difference is the inner work. This understanding is the key that unlocks the cage of anxiety and reactivity. You are no longer waiting for the world to give you peace. You are generating it from the inside out every single day. You have found the source. You have found your strength. You have learned to train your mind like a philosopher emperor, like a master gardener. Now let's bring this journey home. The garden is a metaphor, but the work is real. This inner world is your own mind, your own consciousness. The tools are not theories to be memorized, but practices to be lived. The transformation we have explored is not a distant dream. It is a possibility that exists within you right now, waiting to be cultivated. You don't need to be an emperor or a philosopher to begin. You only need the intention to start. The work begins with the very next thought you have. When a thought of worry arises, you have a choice. Do you follow it down its rabbit hole and water the weed? Or do you simply acknowledge it, there is worry, and gently return your attention to the present moment, to your breath, to the task at hand? This isn't about adding more tasks to your busy life. It's about changing the quality of the life you are already living. It's about how you approach your morning commute, how you respond to your children, how you face a difficult task at work. Each moment is a chance to practice. Each moment is an opportunity to tend to your garden, to pull one small weed or water one small flower. You don't need to make a grand announcement or a dramatic change. This is a quiet revolution, a personal, internal shift. It starts with the simple, patient work of paying attention to your own mind. Treat it with the care and respect you would give to a precious garden, because it is. It is the soil from which your entire experience of life grows. Do not be discouraged by the state of your garden now. It doesn't matter if it is a tangled mess. Every master gardener started with a plot of untamed land. The potential for a beautiful sanctuary is always there, right beneath the surface. All it asks for is your gentle, consistent, and patient attention. Start with one small corner. That is enough. So I will not leave you with a long list of things to do. The world gives you enough of those already. Instead, I will leave you with a single, transformative question. A question to carry with you into your daily life. A question that can serve as your primary gardening tool, your compass, your guide back to your own inner strength. The question is this: is this within my control? Before you get angry, before you get anxious, before you invest your precious energy, ask this simple question. Is this event, this person's opinion, this future outcome, something I truly control? Or is it weather? If it is weather, then your work is not there. Your work is here inside with your response. Let this question be the gatekeeper to your mind. Let it be the filter through which you see the world. By asking it consistently, you will begin to untangle yourself from the anxieties that are not yours to carry. You will reclaim your focus and your energy. You will slowly but surely transform the soil of your mind from a place of chaos to a place of peace. The power to build this inner sanctuary has been within you all along. The wisdom of Marcus Aurelius is not a historical artifact. It is a living guide to accessing that power. You are the emperor of your own inner world. You are the gardener of your own mind. The choice to begin cultivating it is yours, and it is available to you in this very moment. Carry this question with you. Write it down. Put it where you will see it. Let it become a new mental habit. Is this within my control? This single inquiry, practiced with sincerity, can reroute the entire flow of your life's energy, away from fruitless struggle and toward fruitful cultivation. It is the beginning of a new way of being. Your mind does not have to be a battlefield, constantly at war with the world. It can be a garden, a place of strength, beauty, and profound peace, cultivated by your own wise and patient hand. A sanctuary that you can return to at any moment, no matter how fierce the storm outside may be. The world will continue to be chaotic. There will always be storms, but now you carry the knowledge that your peace does not depend on the weather. Your peace depends on the quality of your soil and the depth of your roots. You have the tools. You have the seeds. You are the gardener. Remember the emperor who was also a gardener. His power was not in his crown, but in his philosophy. His strength was not in his armies, but in his well-tended mind. This same strength, this same peace, this same power is available to you. It is the timeless reward for the noble work of self-mastery. Tend to your garden. Cultivate your peace. Your inner world is your most precious possession. Protect it, nourish it, and it will become an unshakable source of strength for the rest of your days. The work is simple, the practice is daily, and the reward is freedom itself. The journey inward is the greatest adventure you will ever take. The garden of your mind is waiting. And if you found this journey helpful, you know what to do to help others find their way here as well.